Oh, whoops, forgot the lights. Blue lights on. There, that's better. In 2020, millions of Americans took coronavirus hardship distributions and filed Form 8915-E for tax year 2020. At that time, it said we could spread out the tax on our coronavirus hardship distributions over a 3-year time period. Do you remember that? So now that we're in 2022 and we're all getting ready to file our 2021 tax forms,
how do you actually do that?
thanks for joining me today. My name is Mike, and I help people master taxes, business, and money. I wanted to address this now because I had so many questions from all of you guys asking, Mike, how do I handle this? How do I report that 1/3 income distribution? Now, the IRS is not finished with the form you actually need to use to file this information. It's still in draft form. No! So what I show you on screen today will hopefully look pretty similar to the final version of it once the IRS releases that. One of the most common questions that you have all been asking surrounding this issue is, will you get a 1099-R related to coronavirus hardship distributions for 2021? And to the best of my knowledge, the answer is no. Your complete coronavirus hardship distribution should have been reported on your tax year 2020 1099-R. You got a 1099-R in 2020 that showed 90,000. Likely that was the entire amount, and you were likely, like most people, are spreading out the tax on that over 3 years. On your 8915E, you would have only reported 1/3 of that income in 2020, and now you're looking to report the next 1/3 on your 2021 return. I really hope you're enjoying this video. If you're finding it helpful, can you do me just a real quick favor and just tap that like button? It'll really help out the channel and help this video reach more people over YouTube. Thank you so much. Conquer our reporting in 2021. The first place we have to start is our 2020 8915-E. We're gonna look back at that form and see what the 1/3 amount was that we reported during that tax year, because we want to take that same amount and report the next 1/3 in 2021, right? That's what we want to do. This is the 8915-F. Supposedly the F part is supposed to be the forever version of this form, but who knows? You can see clearly that it's in draft form, meaning it's going to change a little bit once the IRS is done with it. Kind of like when your spouse walks into the beauty salon. When they come out, they're gonna look a little bit different, but overall, they're still the same person. One thing I like about what they've done here is they've made the first part of this a little less confusing than I would have expected by listing these charts, charts 1 and charts 2. And I've read through their extensive instructions, and yes, it put me to sleep, but I did it for you guys. And if you follow these charts, in chart 1, if you follow this down on the left-hand side, based on how this looks now, it will instruct you where to go. If you want to read any of the information I have on screen, just feel free to pause the video at any point. I don't want to put you guys to sleep by reading this line to line, and I don't want any head injuries or concussions out there from you watching this video. So let's continue. If you remember, when you did your 8915-E, there was two possible places to report your distribution. One area of the form was for non-IRA accounts, and the other area of the form was for IRA accounts. And so you're gonna have to look back at what section you used on the 8915-E and apply that same concept here on this form. In the example we're looking at, we're gonna be completing lines 12 through 15. On page 3, part 2 of this form is the first area where you can report your 1/3 distribution. And if you notice here, it says qualified disaster distributions from retirement plans other than IRAs. When they say other than IRAs, what they mean is that you potentially took that distribution from a 401k or something like a pension. If you took your distribution from an IRA, whether it's traditional, a SEP, or like a Roth, then you would not do part 2, but you would actually come down to part 3 and do where I have red brackets right here. You would enter basically the same information down here. So in this example on line 12, you see I've entered $30,000. Well, that's because in the example I'm using, the total distribution amount in 2020 was $90,000. We're spreading out that distribution 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 over the 3-year period, or reporting $30,000 in income each period. Well, how did I figure out where to enter that $30,000? Well, I'm no rocket scientist. All I did is I read line 12 and it says enter the amount, if any, from worksheet 2 in the instructions. So I dove into the instructions, I found that little worksheet that they give you in those instructions, and I reread that thing like 3 or 4 times until I finally figured out what it was trying to tell me. So that's approximately where you're going to be putting this if you have a non-IRA account in this part 2. And part 3 has its own worksheet, because if you come down here, let me scroll down here, but part 3 uses worksheet 4 instead of worksheet 2. But that's a heads up of what this form is looking like. Like I said, I don't know when it's going to be complete, probably in a month or so, but just wait for it, and hopefully it will be up soon so you can get your tax return filed timely. Now, for the time being, I really think that's all that needs to be said about this form, especially since it's in draft version. But in the comments, if I see enough requests from all of you, I will gladly produce an updated version of this video with the actual final version of the form once the IRS has completed it. Let me know if that was something you would like me to do. If you want to stay up to date on this kind of information, the best thing you can do is subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below. If you have not seen these videos, I would recommend watching them next. I think I'm done talking tax for the day, and the best way to quit talking tax is to take a long walk and go get some more steps in on this Fitbit. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you for being a wonderful audience, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.